it's Billy Hell, and today a new video came out from Rockstar for RDR2, and I thought what we would do is just kind of break it down and take a look at some screenshots, maybe take a look at some weapons and some clothing, and just kind of nitpick some things out of the video and see what we can glean. So let's do that now. So we start off in a camp. This is a horse camp. This would be like something I would be at if I was hunting out on the Brazos River or something like that. You'll see right in the middle some fire. You'll see some guys near it. There's a table or something. We have a tent. I think there's barrels off to the right. I see a jug, probably with some moonshine. And then off to the left, I believe that is a string of horses. And I've got to think this is kind of early part of the game where you're meeting with your guys, hunting, bringing in food, getting information, and just starting out. Majestic beauty. God rays coming through the trees over there. All right, now we're talking to Dutch. Dutch is wearing a what I call a gambler's vest. I actually own one of these, and they're kind of shiny. It's more of a dress-up thing, if you ask me, more of something you'd wear in town. I don't know. Maybe Dutch likes looking good. His short-brimmed hat, I will say, is more typical of what you would have found back then. The Stetsons and all the cowboy hats you see in all the movies, those weren't really worn that much until later on. So that is a highly appropriate hat. Kudos. I like his kind of curly bill. Is that a curly bill mustache and taint he's got there? I don't know. Then on the other cowboy hat we're seeing here, he's got a braided leather hat band, which is cool, I guess. And then I'm going to talk about his suspenders later. I got some other things I'm going to talk about. Also, Dutch is wearing a nice, what is that called? It's what they make pillowcases out of. And so I give them kudos for nice period correct stuff here. So now we have a robbery. This is not what I would call a bank. I think it's more of a telegraph office based on that guy's hat. And who do we have? We have Dutch on the left. He's wearing a shirt. I cannot believe I can't think of what that's called. I've owned one. Anyway, bandana up. I have a theory on this pistol. We'll talk about it more when I get a better shot of it. And then we have Arthur on the right. He's wearing a man purse. And all I can think of is this is something that we'll be able to add to our character to carry extra ammo, food, maybe things like that. And that would be the only reason he would have that on his back. Now, don't get me wrong. Civil War, guys like that, they carried pouches like this for ammo and powder and things like that. So I guess it's all right. And then we have a little vault. This is kind of the equivalent of a GTA robbery. Although I bet this guy is completely different than the guys in the gas stations. But once again, nice lighting. So I've been seeing this holster, and I got to say, man, I'm not sure what to think. I'm not going to comment on the holster yet, but the holster knife combo, I have seen it a couple of times, but I don't remember if they were period or not. Now, maybe you don't care. Maybe I'm getting too period on you here, but I have heard discussions about whether that was practical or not. I've actually seen the knife in front of the gun because usually we're after your knife a lot more than you were after your pistol. But it's interesting, and I would love to talk to the Rockstar person who decided this was the way to go. It might be that way because of it's hanging off the belt and the whatever mathematical equations it takes to make these things move around naturally. But it's very interesting. I'm not opposed to it. I just think it's interesting. So here's the pistol we were looking at earlier that I said I would get to. This is a Schofield made by Smith & Wesson. This is a bad pistola, my friends. I'm a Colt single action guy, but to load a Colt single action, you got to flip open the gate, eject a shell, and load a round, and that's how it is. It's slow. This thing breaks over. Now, from what I'm looking at, I think they modeled that gun off this John Wayne commemorative. I can't find anything else that's remotely close to the gold inlay on that other pistol. And then another thing just to note while we're here is that this is the same gun that Jesse James carried, a man who knew his guns and how to use them. And that's that holster that I noted that I made a replica of in my intro video to the channel. So you can go back and take a look at my holster that I made to look like that. But the Schofield is a serious weapon. You can actually buy them now. Uberti sells them. I think Smith & Wesson selling them again. They're a bad gun. If you're all in love with this game and you can legally do so, go get one and then go to the range. It will be nice. All right, so here we got two yahoos, and we got Arthur over here. I wanted to talk about his suspenders. One thing people don't know a lot is that people didn't really wear belts back then. In fact, no, there weren't even belt loops on pants. So everybody wore suspenders. You would have a gun belt, but you wouldn't have a belt. So that's nice. Suspenders are generally thought of as weird now. At least that's how I think of them. But, okay, really I'm diverging and divulging. But that's why he's got those suspenders on. So good on them. And now we're to the Colt single action. This is a gun that you'll see in every Western. This is a gun that's totally tied to the West. I own a few of these, one 1914 and one 1922. Both of them are 45s. They're just a great point and pistol. They're easy to take apart. There are certainly things that break on these guns, but they're easy to... I mean, when I was 12, I was taking one apart and shooting it on a daily basis. So when you see a cowboy or a Western or anything, this is the gun that you relate to. But there's a reason, because this is primarily one of the number one guns out on the range. And I'll also tell you that if you wanted to own a gun like this, it would cost you a month's pay to pay for it. Now, of course, that would depend on what you were doing. But if you were a cowboy, a cowboy's wage back then, I believe it was $10 for a new one, and that's about what you'd make in a month. So that's how long it would take you to buy yourself a pistol. And it's my favorite. If you haven't held one, do yourself a favor and pick one up. I can twirl them, boys. So we'll end on the Henry rifle. This was the first repeater. This was the AR-15 of its day. Let's say that you're a Comanche and you're used to somebody having a single shot rifle, and then they bring this out and you've got 15 more shots behind that first one. It would be startling and probably the last time you would encounter this gun, because you would wind up deader than hell. The only thing I have to say negative about a Henry is that it doesn't have a wooden forend. As you can see right here, his hand's on the bare barrel. So if you were to fire multiple rounds, it would get pretty damn hot. Hence the Winchester. This old boy stopped being produced around 1866. That's what my brain is telling me. So this is kind of an old gun to show up in an 1890s Western. But that happened all the time. I mean, I'm carrying around guns that are 100 years old. So why not? This is the same gun that they invented the phrase loaded on a Sunday and shoot it all week. And the Comanches and Indians did adopt this and really enjoy this gun in many different ways, as did a lot of troops in the Civil War. It was kind of if you thought, I'm going to die, you might take all the money you have and buy one of these as a way to maybe live longer in the Civil War. But anyway, that's the Henry. Pretty iconic. By the way, Henry's back in full force. You can buy these guns too. They seem to be specializing in 22s, which is fine. I'm a big fan of a 22. This concludes my look at the latest video released by Rockstar in Red Dead Redemption 2, which is coming pretty soon, y'all, in about a week. So standing by. I don't know, maybe you thought this was interesting. That would be awesome. If you did, hit the subscribe button. Check back. I'll be doing more. I have no idea on what. It's just going to come to me like a tidal wave right in the forehead. I'm Billy Hell. See you later, y'all.